welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very requested tips and tricks on how to get your baby to nap or sleep, and I know it's a long-awaited video, so thank you so much for your patience. Basically, my daughter is almost 6 months old. She's been sleeping 12 hours through the night since she was 10 weeks old, and she's always napped well. I'm a first-time mom. I'm not an expert, but I'm going to share what works for me and my baby and kind of some knowledge that I believe in. And if you have any tips and tricks, please share them in the comments below. If I forget anything, I will leave it in the description box, or I will write blurbs here and there. Give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share, follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, all of the above, and share this channel with other mommy friends that you have. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So let's start from the beginning. When baby is brand new, newborn, like for the first 3 months, they're entered into this world where everything changes on a daily basis. There are loud noises. They don't really know, they don't know people. They're exposed to new things every single day. It's so different from when they were in the womb, and their environment was the same every single day. And you cannot coddle a newborn baby. You can't. Honestly, I feel like that was one of the biggest pieces of advice that kind of got me through trying stages of not sleeping or not wanting to be put down. You can't coddle a newborn. If you want to hold them for naps, hold them for naps. And if you put them down and they cry and you're really stressed out, yes, I get it. You can go pee, you can make yourself lunch, do normal things. Or try baby wearing. It helped me a ton during her fussy stages. But as far as, sleeping goes, don't worry. It's a phase. They're gonna go through it. Eventually they're gonna sleep through the night. Eventually they're gonna nap well. So one of my biggest tips is to listen to your baby and watch for their cues. So watch for yawning, fussiness, rubbing of the eyes. Those are really big cues that say, I'm tired. What I started doing was I kept track of her naps. I kept track of the timing in between naps, the timing of how long was she awake before she kind of got really fussy or had the tired cues. And I looked for a pattern. And with my daughter, it was definitely a pattern. So keep track of naps, whether it be in an app. I use Sprout Baby app, or just write it down in general and kind of look for a pattern. And believe you me, babies change their pattern and routines all the time. So just keep an eye out for that when you think something's up, why aren't they napping? Look for a pattern change or a routine change. For the first month, we didn't have a bedtime because we were on such a strict feeding schedule, but her fussy time was around 9 p.m. So at about 4 weeks, we started doing a formal bedtime, and it was 9 p.m. we picked because that was her fussy time. It actually worked out great. She went down at 9 p.m. like clockwork. It would probably, it could take up to a half hour in the beginning to get her to go down, but it was a very good bedtime. So if they have a specific fussy time, try that for a bedtime. And consistently, it has gotten sooner and sooner. And then we went to 8:30, and now she gets fussy around 7:45, 8 o'clock. So we do an 8 o'clock bedtime. When I put Sydney down for nighttime, I rock her, I sing to her. If I put her down in the bassinet, because she sleeps in a bassinet, if I put her down and she wakes up or stirs a bunch, I'll gently place my hand on her chest and keep it there for a little bit. It kind of soothes them. The scent of you, and then the warmth and the pressure and the comfort of you holding them is still kind of there with that hand. So I'll gently lay her down and I'll put my hand on her chest until she stops stirring, and then I'll gently take it away. And that's, it usually is only a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds. And I've shown that on Snapchat so many times. I'll do it in the bassinet, in the crib, in the rock and play, in the swing. That trick works phenomenally. And if she's still stirring super crazy, I'll kind of let her work through it. But then if she starts fussing, I'll pick her up. We're not doing the cry it out stage phase or anything like that. Okay, so another tip for me was huge. Swaddling was amazing. We've swaddled right up until 5 months, until she could start to roll over, and we used the swaddle pods, the zip up ones, so she couldn't bust out of them. I know Velcro and the muslin blankets really didn't work for us, so swaddling is huge. And if you're finding your baby's not napping well, or they wake up when you put them down, try swaddling, because the startle reflex when they throw their hands out because they feel like they're falling, really a big factor in them not staying asleep when you put them down. Another tip is don't go running or picking them up or soothing them at the slightest little whine or whimper. A lot of times babies can work through it. And if you're not teaching them that every time they whimper or make a noise that you're gonna rush and pick them up, then they're not gonna know that right yet. I mean, they're gonna learn eventually because babies are very smart. They're gonna learn eventually that that's what works. I would say for the first 4 weeks, really it's trial and error and they just want to be comforted. So hold them for some naps, put them down for some naps. So really in the first 4 weeks, just try to do all that you can to nurture them and comfort them. Honestly, I don't believe in the cry it out method. I like to say fuss it out because if she's scream crying, no. I'm not gonna let her scream cry. She'll literally scream cry until she's hyperventilating, can't breathe, and I feel like that's not good for her. She's probably gonna get a headache. She's gonna like wonder, why can't I rely on my mom to comfort me? But I definitely let her fuss it out or whine it out. That's gonna be my like term I'm gonna use. I let them fuss it out. Okay, so transitioning from swaddling to not swaddling, I thought was gonna be super, super hard. And I know for some babies and moms, it really is hard. But for her, she was very ready for it. I started with nap time, stopping the swaddling, and she did amazing. I put her in a rock and play with a light muslin blanket, and she started sucking her thumb when she started teething, and that actually helps soothe her and put herself to sleep. So she puts herself to sleep now with naps. A very big tip is do not create bad habits. Try your hardest from day one to not create bad habits. And by that, I mean, if you don't want your baby to end up in bed with you, don't ever do it. Don't start it. There were times where I was nursing her or rocking her to sleep, like at, early stages, 5 weeks, say, and she was very fussy. One night she fussed from 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. Legit, like no, hardly any stopping. And babies will do that. It's okay. It's gonna end. Just know that it's not gonna be like that forever. It's not. Whether they're colicky or have reflux or just want to be nurtured or going through, have gas, just know that it's gonna end. It's not gonna be like that forever. So I would fall asleep holding her because I was so exhausted. I like literally couldn't help it. And I would fall asleep and then jolt right awake, and she'd be fine. But I would never just put her in my bed because she stopped fussing. Yes, she stopped fussing when I was holding her, but I never put her in my bed because I did not want her knowing like, hey, if I fuss, mom's gonna put me in bed with her. So what I would do is as soon as she stopped fussing, I would put her down in the bassinet. She would sleep for a little bit. If she would fuss and cry, and I don't even mean fuss, if she would start scream crying, I would pick her up, rock her, soothe her, make sure she was fed in those beginning stages, and as soon as she stopped crying, I would put her back down, and I would repeat that and repeat that and repeat that. I never put her in my bed because I never wanted to co-sleep. I don't have a safe co-sleeper. She was going to be in the bassinet, and I know some moms are like, oh, my baby doesn't like the bassinet. Babies adapt. In my opinion, honestly, babies adapt. They don't know what they like and don't like. They're gonna learn to like their bassinet. If you don't give them another option, they're gonna sleep in the bassinet, or they're gonna sleep in the rock and play, like whatever you choose, or their crib. We haven't done the transition yet. We're still in the bassinet, so I can't speak on transitioning to crib. So we'll go there when we go there. Okay, so a couple of reasons why babies might not sleep well or sleep through the night. Hungry. For the first 3 weeks, we nursed every 3 hours from start to start. So yeah, no sleeping through the night there. And also, if she were to wake up now in the middle of the night, because we've been going so long without feeding in the middle of the night, I won't nurse her. I'll pick her up, I will soothe her, and she'll fall back asleep, and I'll put her down, or I'll put her down as she's drowsy. And I'm not gonna start nursing her in the middle of the night until if she's inconsolable and I really think she needs a nursing session, but I won't, because again, I don't wanna start bad habits. And teach her hey, I can get some food in the middle of the night even though I don't need it. I know she's getting plenty of food during the day. Another big tip is, a lot of people think, this is a misconception, a lot of people think, if a baby's really tired, they're gonna sleep so good at night. So that is really false. Putting to bed a tired baby is absolutely a horrible idea. If they are overtired and exhausted and crying and cranky and screaming, it's gonna probably be a really hard bedtime. They can't unwind. They're, you know, when, as an adult, when we're at work and we're stressed and we're this and that, we have restless leg syndrome where we can't shut our mind down, we can't fall asleep. That's exactly what a baby's going through too. So a good daytime routine, napping, and a good day is going to mean a good night, if that makes sense. During the day, it's super important to make sure they go down for naps when you feel like they're tired and ready for sleep. Also, it's very important to have good playtime stimulation, good people stimulation, like enough nurturing from mom, dad, you know, whoever's watching them and taking care of them. So holding them, playing with them, making sure they're fed well, and making sure that they have naps is very, very important. Babies love routine, and like clockwork, at night she's ready for bed every single night because we do the same routine. I'll list my baby bedtime routine down below as well as here on the screen in an iCard. We do the lavender lotion, we do the nursing session, we do the singing, we do the same song at bedtime, and then we lay her down in the bassinet. Like clockwork every single night is pretty much the same. Light, like white noise, helps. Napping especially, like during the day I have light music playing, or I have the TV on, or like the windows are open so there's white noise coming through. And if it's dead silent, I've noticed, like if I move and make a noise, if it's dead silent, she'll jolt awake. But if I move and I'm loud and doing the dishes and there's like the TV on in the background or music on in the background and she's sleeping, she'll sleep through it all. The more like white noise or light noise that's going on, the less she'll jolt awake for me doing chores and around the house. Also, another reason why they might not sleep through the night is teething or acid reflux. So there will be times where, you know, your routine or schedule or your baby's just gonna change or go through regression. Don't worry, it's gonna end. You're fine, and you're not alone. A lot of moms reach out to me all the time saying like, oh my God, help me, my baby won't sleep and they're 4 weeks old. I'm like, your baby's 4 weeks old. It's probably not gonna happen. It's okay, it's gonna end. You're not alone. Thousands and millions of moms out there are going through the same thing that you are. You're gonna get through it. Like, you're tired, and I know it's so frustrating when you're going through it. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm here to tell you, I promise, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Not all babies are the same. Some babies won't sleep through the night until they're a year. Some babies will sleep through the night when they're, you know, 8 weeks old. Every baby's different, but start with napping and a good daytime routine. Just try different things until you find something that works, and then before you know it, that thing that works is gonna change. So, I mean, I know that's not like the advice that anyone wants to hear, but it's the truth. So at first we stuck a little tiny towel rolled up, kind of almost at an angle, not a wedge, but like a very, very slight angle in her bassinet. Reflux goes away like once they're older, but as younger, I would feed her and then for 15 minutes hold her in an upright position, or I'd rock her in an upright position to make sure all of her food kind of goes down, because babies naturally have reflux and it's harder for them to sleep because they'll get trapped gas, it will burn their throats, and it's painful for them. So I held her in an upright position for 15 minutes after feeding, every single feeding, which was very trying and tiring, but for the first like 3-4 weeks for sure. Make sure you burp them very well in the beginning. You know, as they get older, it's not as hot, like they can almost burp themselves, but in the very beginning, make sure they're burped. And then also trapped gas is a big one. With Sydney, she went through a phase where it was really, really hard for her to sleep. And it was because she had trapped gas. She would scream and arch her back and flail her legs. She couldn't get the gas to go through. So we introduced probiotics, and then once probiotics got in her system, she slept like a dream. She didn't have that trapped gas problem. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say as far as tips and tricks go. I hope you guys find this helpful. There's no perfect science to putting a baby to sleep. Like, I know there's, you know, books and there's theories and the cry it out method. So give the video a thumbs up. There's no miracle. Believe you me, you're not alone. We've all been there. We've all done that. Do what works for you and your baby. If you have tips and tricks that you guys want to share with me and all of our followers and fellow moms, leave them in the comments below. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Mwah.